Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Foreigner Footy Files. I'm Natalia Pinkney, and this is episode 6, Month of Madness. So, this week we're going to get into the whirlwind of my entire trial process and probably one of the most crucial months of my entire international journey. So, let's continue with the poems that are pieces of my path. This poem is titled, Who Are You to Me? Who are you to me, but a man or a woman that's meant to lead? As I rise to each occasion, trying to solve the equation. Where the hell do I fit into this? I mean, let's be real, I'm hard to miss. With every stamp in that book, they shoot me a look. Like I'm here for a free ride? Y'all don't know the things I hide. But ain't that some shit? Y'all really think you get it? What it's like to be me? Always living 1 foot, 1 step in front of me. For how can I settle and grow when no one has thought, let's keep her around, you know? One day my reality will outshine my fantasy when I find a real family. One team, one jersey, saying we believe in me, and like what they see. A player, a person, a teammate, just me. Okay. To make one thing clear, because I feel like it was probably kind of confusing the way I worded it last time. So this entire trial process, I have been signed. So I signed a contract that I was on the team, but I was still trialing to prove that I was going to keep that contract with the team, if that makes sense. So this whole 2-week, 3-week trial process, I am contracted. I am on the team. I am rostered. But I am basically proving that I can keep that position. So let's make that clear, because your girl was on the team. So I had to finish my first training, and 2 days later, my first scrimmage. Like I landed straight a day, had those 2 days, my first practice, and then my first scrimmage. So I scored. And my team even posted about it. Like things were starting out really good. I felt like, cool. You know, they even acknowledged me. Our new U.S. signing, Natalia Pinkney, got a goal. And I'm not going to say names. I almost said her name. And another girl got 2 goals. And so it was just it was a great way to start our season, you know. And I felt like I was clicking with the girls. I was making goals. I was making impressions. And at this point, I'm thinking, cool, you know, football's going good. I'm getting myself together. I'm, you know, being taken care of by a really nice family and making new friends. Some of those friends and teammates in this episode are super, super important. So as I'm not naming names, but you got to pay attention to who is who. And I'll check back in momentarily with dates and timelines and everything, because this is going to be a ride. So now, all I needed was a normal job, right? So let's be clear. I wasn't getting paid enough to live on my own. So shocked with women's football. So hence the job needed to be found. Yes, I was getting paid, but not enough. So my host family, they allowed me to print out a crap ton of resumes. I mean, I'm surprised their printer didn't break. I was printing them Jones out. And I handed out resumes every damn day. Every day. So for those of you who know the Gold Coast region, I was in Broad Beach. I was in Surfers. I was in Southport. I was in everywhere you could think of, sending out my resume. And nothing. I mean, some people were like, oh, we'll let you know. Some people were like, yeah, sounds good. But you know in your chest when you go hand in a resume somewhere, right? And you can feel it. You're like, they ain't gonna call me back. That was basically me every day for weeks. So to add on to the stress of trying to stay on the team, find a job, trying to get acclimated, y'all, now I needed to find my own place. And like, look, these people were nice enough to host me. I'm not trying to sound ungrateful at all or salty. It just they didn't give me a timeline of how long I would be staying with them when I first arrived. So it was kind of one of those moments where I woke up one day and my host mom was like, yeah, so my parents are coming to stay with us. And they're going to stay in the room that you've been staying in. So you got to find your own place to go. And I was like, okay, well, thanks for the heads up. So now I'm maneuvering online, trying to figure out how Australia home life is, how to get apartments. Like, I don't know how this stuff works. I just got here. I'm new. Okay. So they helped me. They did help me look online and narrow down the search and blah, blah, blah. So let's keep track of the timeline, right? So I arrived January 26th. First scrimmage is January 28th. First official game, February 2nd. By February 10th, I had moved into my own place. The date of me moving into my own place is between the 2nd and the 10th. I don't exactly know. I don't remember the exact date. But let me tell y'all. For this episode, the amount of text messages, messenger messages, group chats, Facebook posts, Instagram posts. Like, I have been scrolling all night trying to verify timelines, dates, stamps, conversations to make sure that I got all of these timelines correct, because I had completely forgotten how intersected all of my activities were into leading up to where I am now, especially in this first month of Australia. So I don't even know the exact date that I moved into this place, but I had checked text messages with me and my first coach, and he was like, oh, I heard from your host father that you got the place. Congrats. And this was on the 10th. So we're going to use that date. And things are moving very, very fast. Like, I hopped off that plane and it felt like time was like, get it together. So now I'm in my own place, right? Let me tell y'all about this apartment. So my host mom went around with me, checking out different apartments and trying to figure out which ones were affordable, which were easy to access with public transport, and which just made sense, right? And so we come across this place, and they got 2 dogs. Now, anybody knows me. If you got animals, I'm a sucker, and I'm going to be like, sweet, let me move in so I can just play with your animals and live happily ever after. So they had 2 dogs, boy and a girl, neither of them neutered. Let's keep that clear. Neither of them neutered, which I'm cool with, but if you can handle it. The couple was interesting. Nice people. Don't get me wrong. Super chill for several reasons. One of them being that the boyfriend was a drug dealer. Did not find this out until later, obviously. The place was decent in a decent neighborhood. So by all intents and purposes, we couldn't figure out a reason why it couldn't work. It was affordable. And also, side note, rent is done weekly in Australia, not monthly. So when I saw 200 on the website, I was like, $200 a month? Shoot, let's go. Yeah, no, that's $200 a week. So yeah, we thought it was good. We was like, okay. And she was like, yeah, it's fine. It's good. Listen, again, no shade. I get it. Y'all had your own things you had to take care of at home. I think with maybe a little bit more notice, it could have been more organized. But I know, looking back, that woman knew this place was not good, because I found out very quickly that this place was not good, okay? She was lying. So the couple, yeah, they're interesting. They were living off of the government, which is, look, I ain't above it. I ain't against it. And it don't really bother me. You can pay your bills. Your government should be helping y'all out. What I don't approve of is y'all living off the government and stealing from me. Because how it should work, y'all, just a heads up, you're supposed to pay into someone's bank account, typically the landlord, for the rent weekly, not in cash. Yes, y'all, I was paying them $200 in cash every week. You know where that was going? Pockets, drugs, dogs, I don't know. Not the rent. Ain't no fucking way. Ain't no way. So I was bamboozled, I was hoodwinked, I was swindled. And I figured that out later. And another key bestie comes into play later in the storyline that helps me get up out of there. But Yeah, so that's where I'm living at the moment, right? One of the dogs, the girl dog, as she is unneutered, got in heat one day and just had her little lady doggy period all over the carpet. You know what they did? They put his boxers on her and said, keep them on. Let's just say the blood spread in the apartment. Yeah, so that was my living situation. Also, a mattress on the floor, which is like, I'm not above it. Again, it's a mattress, it's a place to stay. I have a roof over my head, I can feed myself. But I was paying $200 a week for a mattress on the floor and bloody carpets from a dog and drug dealer. So, yeah, that living situation gets interesting. We'll come back to that. Anyway, so back to the football. I become friends, really, really close friends with one of my teammates. She's a bit younger than me, and she's from England, I believe. Girl, please don't hurt me if I got that wrong. I believe she's from England. And we got to talking because she wanted to go play football in the States at a college university. And I was like, hey, my university just got a new coach. She's great. I've talked to her. She's looking to expand, and she is investing in international players. If you're interested, we can try and figure something out. So me and her exchanged numbers, and that was the beginning of that very, very strong, crucial, codependent relationship. Like, we had each other's backs from that point on. And so then we had another game. Anna scored again. So the progress is going good. I'm doing my thing, doing my job, really starting to, settle in. I'm getting along with the girls. I'm starting to become friends with the starters and really trying to kind of like figure out where I fit into this team. And so far, so good, right? Like, no one's complaining. The coach keeps saying over and over again, everyone loves you. The girls are vibing with me. I'm vibing with them, and we're winning. So why wouldn't I stay, right? So our next game, y'all, I didn't know how much it storms in Australia. Like, first of all, that was dumb, right? Like, thinking about the extreme nature of that country, of course there's extreme storms. But we had a game, everyone's getting warmed up, everyone's getting ready, and it starts raining a little bit, and they're like, oh no. I was like, oh no, it's just some rain. And they're like, oh, just wait. I kid you not. We were about to start the game, and it starts hailing. I mean, hailing so hard that in the videos that were taken, I've got some videos on my phone. I found some videos on Instagram in my old time travel stalking, and it was loud. The hail was huge. Well, big for me. And it was hitting. And I remember looking at my coach, and I was like, so I don't think we're going to play tonight, are we? And he was like, no, we're crazy, but this is just dangerous. So my poor family, who was up at an obscene hour waiting to watch this game, and it's not happening. So that game got postponed from the storm. And then we finally play. And I was unlucky, didn't get any goals this game, but I played really well. And I was really, really getting my confidence. And this is where probably the biggest plot twist of the year happened for me. And mind you, we're only in February. So, pretty big plot twist. So let's add another date in there to keep our timeline fresh, right? So now we're at February 17th, just to keep things in check. And I am playing against this team. Team wasn't that great. We won, easy win, moving on, right? Well, one of the girls that played for that team, her mother was really good friends with my coach. And he trained her sometimes, but I think just because of where she was living, she didn't play for us. She played for this other team. I believe this was one of those teams full of younger girls, one of those feeder teams to bigger teams type situations. So she was young, very, very young, but very talented. And remember I told y'all to keep in mind that my coach was a fan of my auntie right here, Aunt Faye. I gotta be careful not to touch it because it will fall down. Yeah, so turns out so is the mother of this player, huge fan. And so we meet and we chat, and she invites me to stay behind and kick around with her daughter, her daughter, our coach, and a few of these other people that were just hanging around the club. And I'm like, okay, sure, why not? I'm new. Let me lay some roots. Let me meet some new people, because you never know. And boy, did I not know where this was going. So little did I know, one of the guys who was playing with us, I'm gonna name this guy because he's famous and he's cool. His name was Carl Brazil. And so he's one of the world's best, if not the best, session drummers. And guess who he's a drummer for, y'all? The biggest name that he's a drummer for? Robbie Williams. I don't know many of the people that I personally speak to. If you'll know who Robbie Williams is, maybe my artistic musical folk in Berlin, maybe y'all know who he is, but pretty sure he's English. Lord, I hope I'm not getting that wrong. But he dope. He dope. He's also been a drummer for James Blunt, Feeder, and Ed Sheeran. Right? So I'm just casually kicking around playing football with this guy, with this drummer, right? So turns out we're both left-footed, and he's a really, really cool guy, like super down to earth. He just happens to be really talented in what he does, but he's just a dude's dude, right? Just loves playing football, loves expressing in art, and likes meeting new people. And so we kick around, we have a bit of fun, we go inside, we're having some beers and hanging out and talking. And we ended up taking selfies and pictures and following each other on social media. And I'm thinking, oh my God, like Robbie Williams, drummer, is following me on Instagram and Twitter and taking pictures of me. This is super surreal. I've been here for like 2 weeks and my life is turning into something crazy. So then by the end of the night, he invited me to their concert the next night. He's like, all right, so I better see you tomorrow night with your coach. I was like, pardon? He's like, yeah, we got a concert, me and Robbie and the band, so I better see you there. I was like, tell me when and where, get me a ticket, because your girl can't afford one. Also don't know where to buy them. So I ended up contacting my coach, and I was like, by the way, Carl said that I need to go to the concert, so you got a ticket? And he's like, yeah, don't worry, we got you covered. So he ends up actually posting a picture with me on his Instagram. I believe it's still there. I think it's still there. Y'all can go fact check me. Lord have mercy. Y'all can go fact check me and see I'm not lying. I also have screenshots. So try me. So back to the woman that I met, right? The mother of one of the players. She actually offered to help me find a job because at this point I'm still jobless. So I'm scraping on the money that I had left from home because, shocker, I also wasn't getting paid yet from football because they couldn't get it together and they hadn't paid us for any of the games. So just as rent is weekly, right? So you want me to pay rent weekly, but you haven't paid me at all. Sweet. So I'm panicking, right? No job, rent's coming in, I'm paying in cash to a sketchy couple, and things are just stressing me out a little bit. So this is important though. Remember this, that this woman helped me find a job. It's important. Where? So later that night, my coach texts me. He says, oh, he wants me to stay. Do you? So in my head, I'm thinking, great, I just played awesome. I just met the drummer for Robbie Williams, Carl Brazil. I met this amazing woman who I believe she worked in law and she works in advocacy and women's rights as well. So that's exactly what I want to do. Her daughters are amazing. They're like little sisters to me, like after one night, and everything was going good other than not finding a job. But other than that, everything was good, right? And then to just cap off my night, my coach messages me and reminds me, everything's going really well, and I really hope that you can stay. And I'm like, sweet. All I gotta do is give me that job, and we good, right? So let's keep this timeline in check, right? Now we're at February 20th, and it's concert time. So, y'all, I went in this concert in a limo. Like, this woman is such boss woman energy. She had me go to the concert with her 2 daughters, and her son. And I was like, wait a minute, where's our ride? And the limo pulls up. I was like, oh, shoot, y'all y'all don't play out here, right? So like I'm living in a big house with my host family, moving to my own place, and now I'm going to limos. Like, what is this reality? This is insane. So I'm getting excited for this night. I'm like, let's go. Concert was absolutely amazing, stunning. I have videos from the night still. They pop up in my memories. They're in my camera roll. Like Robbie Williams, Carl, y'all did the thing. It was a beautiful, amazing, once-in-a-lifetime experience. Like, absolutely blessed to have experienced something like that. And now we're on to February 21st. So remember, game, concert, February 21st. Like, all of this is day, back to back to back. And I'm on my way to shoot my shot with Hot Shot. So this is the cafe that the woman, the mother of the girl who I played against, she said, hey, I go there all the time. I know the owners. Go over there, use my name as a reference, and just see if they're looking to hire. And I was like, all right. Well, typically when you got people that can order limos for concerts and just casually hang out with drummers who are famous, when you drop a name reference, typically you're expecting it to be like, oh, you know who we know? Bet you can get a job. So I was confident, y'all. I was strutting my way to this cafe. I was like, this girl about to get a job today. Right? So I walk up there and I ask for the boss and I mention her name. And yeah, once again, no luck. They didn't have any hours for me. But you know what? I tried. And I'm not upset about it. I had to put my name out there just to see what would happen. And who knows, you know? You never know until you try. Y'all, I got a call the next day from the boss. And someone had fell through. From what I remember, I don't have any receipts of this conversation. I think it was a phone call. So I believe someone had fell through. I think it was a new person. And I got a trial run with the cafe. And y'all, I got the job. Got the job. So your girl's hired. She could start paying rent from her own hard-earned money outside of football because they still didn't pay me yet. February 21st, and they still didn't pay me yet. Just remember, you know, all the dates. So by this time, I've been in the country almost 3 weeks, signed with the team, scoring, found an apartment, got a job, waiting for confirmation from the coach that I'm staying. Because at this point, all the compliments, all the good stuff, all the positive energy, good vibes, and this man still didn't confirm that I was staying. Now, I know you thinking for the average listener, well, why not? And she doing her job, she doing her thing, getting along with the team, assimilating, getting a job, taking care of herself, scoring. I mean, what else do you need from somebody to keep them in that spot? I had the same questions, okay? So now he's telling me that I gotta wait for another player's visa to go through for this whole thing to work out. So apparently what was supposed to be going on was there's another player. I believe she's also from England. There's a lot of English folks in Australia, which makes sense, you know. Their prisoners were sent there another time. And so she had been there for years. She was supposed to be, from what I was told, going for her citizenship. And so obviously, if you are considered a citizen, you don't need a visa spot. I could just have the spot and everything would be Gucci. Technically, it probably would have been easier if he just gave me the spot over the girl who was recovering from an injury who hasn't played all preseason. And I showed that I was ready to play. And, you know, sucks. But that's the game. Someone comes in, proves that they can take the spot. They take the spot. It is what it is. Nah, this man was playing games and using visa roulette to decide if I was going to stay on this team or not. Not my skill, not my impression, nothing. Someone else's visa. Okay. So, turns out whole time, he says, you know, don't be mistaken. He wants me and the girls love me. Okay. So, you want me to stay, the girls love me, but we're still waiting on someone else's visa to go through for you to confirm that you actually want me to stay? Make it make sense. Anyway. So, y'all remember the teammate that I got close with? Yeah, so we blowing up each other's phones at this point. She's trying to make sure things work out with Towson. I'm trying to, like, vent to her about everything with the team because I'm like, you know this man, and you've seen me play. You know, you've seen what's going on. Like, I cannot understand why it's not working out. What am I waiting for? I've done everything else right. And she's like, you got me stumped because I have no idea. So we just trauma bonding together. She's stressing about going to America. I'm stressing about trying to stay in Australia. Just typical normal women's football problems. And so I'm losing my patience. Like at this point, I have been very cordial. I've been respectful. I've let things play out how I figured they should play out. And it got to a point where I was like, nah, this is just mad disrespectful. Like, you cannot play around with me, my time, my emotions, and my career. You told me if I show up and I did my job, I'd have the spot. I've done that. I've shown up. I've done my job. I've gotten a job. I've got my own place to live. It's been weeks, several weeks. And you're pushing all this. We love you. Everyone loves you. We want to keep you, but it's conditional on someone else's life. Get out of my face. So I'm about ready to snap. And my teammate's like, pump the brakes. Definitely send a message, but don't pop off just yet. And I was like, all right. So we decided that I should set up a meeting and just kind of like rip off the Band-Aid and just basically make him say it to my face. Like, do you want to keep me or not? Am I staying? So another time check. This is now February 22nd. And me and my teammate, we collaborate and I send a message to the coach. And the message I have sent says, like, the girls are asking me when my last game is. And they're asking if I'm staying. And when I was going back through all the receipts and messages and timelines and everything, I forgot how transparent and open people are in Australia. Like, there's really no beating around the bush. People just tell you how they feel, what they thinking, and they gonna ask you what's up. Especially if you think about it, just in terms of business and team and relations, they have the right to know. Like, am I staying? I'm a new foreigner. Things are going well. We're playing well together. Am I going to be around for the rest of the season, or should they expect me to just dip out? And, I wanted to know too. So, yeah, me and my coach, we decided to chat that Sunday after the game. February 22nd, when I sent the message, was a Friday. So, Monday rolls around, still no answer about my position. I mean, homie quite literally left me on red. And then I lose my patience a little bit more. And I just messaged him straight up and I just said, in short, when is my last game? Because at this point, it's quite clear you're trying to mess around with my time. You're clearly not worried about this other person staying. They've got their life figured out. Like, they're applying for a visa. It just not maybe the visa that I need them to get for me to stay, but they're applying for a visa. You get them, right? You're not worried. I am. I'm worried about me, okay? You know how far Australia is? Okay? I had to quit my job. I left everything. I chanced everything on this opportunity, and I held up my end of the bargain. And you playing games with me. Now, I'm not the woman, I'm not the woman that I am now. So, way less confident, way more insecure, way more scared of life, way more focused on making the authority like me rather than taking control of my future and standing up for myself and having some self-respect. I was very much more of like, I don't want to rock the boat. I'm really sorry. I don't want to bother you. I mean, reading the messages between me and my coach, I apologized so many times for bothering him because I was literally asking him, are you going to commit to me? Am I staying in Australia? That's crazy. Couldn't be me today. That's crazy. So, this man offers to meet me for another coffee. Now, I say another coffee because every time I brought up wanting to speak about if I was staying or not, he suggests we meet for a coffee and talk about it. How many coffees can we have? The answer is yes or no at this point. We reach in the end of February. I got here end of January. We're pushing a month. What you doing? So we decide we're going to meet for a coffee the next day. And I lose it a bit and I kind of went off. And I told him my raw feelings, and this is what he responds with, because I wrote down the quote. I'm all about receipts up in this podcast. He says, I understand that. Be good to have a tea. The girls are great. Everyone loves you. Now, I sent the screenshot to my teammate, because if they all love me and I'm doing well, then why not choose me? What's the issue here? I don't understand the problem. She said the same thing. She's like, Why is he even telling me this? Who cares if the girls like me? Who cares if things are going well? If you don't plan on keeping me, that is an irrelevant fact for me. It's a nice little cushion. It makes my heart feel kind of good, but it don't matter. It also just kind of puts salt in the wound, like, oh, the girls love you, you're doing your job, everything's going great, but there's no buts. Why are you telling me that nice fluffy stuff if it don't make a difference? Wasting my time. So the next day, we don't meet. Shocker. And he wants to wait on the other player's visa info to come in before we meet. He literally, I wish I would write down the quote from the message. He was like, I'm paraphrasing. Let's wait until so-and-so's visa information comes in, and then we should meet up to talk. Why are we waiting to talk based on what her visa results are? Why are we even playing this game? Like, why are you, like, why are you doing this to me? I don't understand. So, I'm flustered. I'm trying not to lose my cool because at the end of the day, like, he hasn't officially decided that he's not keeping me, right? So I can't exactly pop off because there's still technically a chance in the cards that he wants to sign me. So I'm kind of like trying to keep myself together. And, you know, I'm like, all right, let's just keep our heads straight about this. Take a deep breath. And let's just wait to see what her visa says, because clearly he has no other options in his back pocket. You know, I mean, maybe he could just do the right thing and keep me on the team, but that seems too simple. So, he doesn't answer me for a whole day. Like, just doesn't answer me. And then he forwards me a message from the girl whose visa is supposed to be determining my future. Homegirl ain't even going for the visa that he thought she was going for. So it was never going to happen. Like, it was never going to work for me because she was supposed to be, in his mind, going for citizenship off rip. She wasn't. She was going for a visa that allows her to apply for citizenship in time. So yeah, that puts a wrench in some plans, right? So now he basically just goes straight to the point because, you know, now we've got our answer. Now he can be direct with me. And he goes, yeah, I'm going to put you in touch with one of my coach friends. And he recommends me to Rabina. Now, I know that name means nothing to any of my non-Australian folk or non-Australian players, or even just like non-Gold Coast, Brisbane area people. So let me explain Rabina to y'all. Rabina is, I would say, like 1 or 2 levels below semi-pro in Australia. I was currently playing at semi-pro. He recommended me to a team and club level that was below where we are now with his whole chest. Like, his whole chest was like, oh yeah, I got a friend. You can play there. You'll be a star. I don't know. You'll notice a pattern in my timeline as I go in these folders and files. A lot of these coaches like to use that verbiage with me. You're going to be a star. You'll shine. You'll take over. That's not what I came here to do. I came here to be a part of a team. I came here to be a part of something bigger than me. I came here to win. I came here to develop. I came here to be a footballer. I don't care about shining. Like, is it nice to get recognition? Is it nice to be successful? Absolutely. I'd be lying to y'all faces if I said that I wasn't trying to go for golden boot, if I wasn't trying to go for, you know, whatever stats and what. Obviously, that comes with the job, but that's not my priority. That's a side factor of me doing my job well. And so he then ignores the rest of my texts. And I text my teammate and I told her what he said, and she is livid. Livid. She was like, wait a minute. He seriously recommended Rabina? I was like, yeah, is that good? It's because at this time I had no idea about Rabina. I don't know the levels of football here. I don't know anything. And she was like, Rabina's a joke, and that's insulting. And I cannot believe that he would recommend you moving down to Rabina from this team. And so now I'm like, oh, so now you playing with me. Now you disrespected me. Because first you get my hopes up, then you crush them. Then you're going to recommend that I move down levels? Out of your damn mind. So she suggests that we hang out. So I go over to her place, we hang out, and we're just like talking about teams in the league. We're looking at the ladder, and we're trying to figure out who does she know. I clearly know no one. And then it also comes down to which teams actually pay people. Because believe it or not, guys, some of these women are doing this crap for free. Yep, that's women's football. Full-time football for free. Because, why invest in us when we're clearly better than most of our men's teams? Anyway, so she recommends a club to me called Logan Lightning. And she knows the coaches on the team. And I'm looking at the ladder. They're a bit lower. And I'm not somebody that's going to count anybody out just because you're near the bottom. But going from South, who was like basically near the top of the ladder, if not top of the ladder, and Logan was a bit struggling at that point in the season, I was like, oof, that's going to be a drop. But you don't know until you go somewhere. Maybe they're just missing a couple players. Maybe people are injured. Maybe they're waiting for other transfers to come in. You don't know. And who am I to judge? I'm new. I just got here. So at this point, I've got one game left with Souths because he just stopped answering me. So I assumed, okay, well, after this next game, this is probably it, right? Since you're recommending me to other teams. Good talk. So this man is literally disrespecting me. And at this point, after talking with my teammate, we realized it wasn't about him disrespecting me. And, well, it was a level of disrespect. But it wasn't about him saying, like, oh, just go down and play with them because you're just so good. He wanted to keep me out the league. Because although he was smart enough to realize that I was good, and he was smart enough to realize that I was a threat in the league, he wasn't smart enough to keep me. Make it make sense. So instead of him doing right by me and helping me find another club that would pay me, helping me find a way to stay, he recommends I go down a level. Get out my face. So I take another leap, and I message the goalkeeper coach of Logan Lightning. And he says he's heard of me, and he watched me play in one of the most recent games. And he was like, oh, you played left winger, right? I was like, yeah, I played left winger, striker. He's like, oh, yeah, you were causing some trouble. I was like, thank you. And so we had a nice chat, and he invites me to a practice. So I said, no way, like, no way. And he's like, yeah, come to a practice, come to a tryout. Let's see how things go. So tune in next time to see where things went. All right. So that was probably the most hectic month of my life. I want to add another date in there real quick. That message was sent on February 27th. So timeline recap. I got there January 26th. First game was 28th. This is now February 27th. And I'm already messaging another coach to go to another team. After finding a job, finding in my own apartment, getting thrown around left, right, center of if I was staying with my club to now I'm trying to hope and pray that another club wants me. So that's the timeline. That is the month of madness. All right, y'all. Now it's time for I Wish I Knew That. So I wish I knew the system of Australian football. Like, why did I not do my research? I don't know. I was very starstruck. I was very young. I was super excited. I was just trying to get out of my town, my country, and start my career. And so I just took this man's word for it, for everything, and was just like, yeah, I'm Gucci. I wish I knew the whole entire setup of the Australian Women's Football League from top to bottom, from what was, Women's League, W League, all the way down to the final league. Because had I known what the levels were when he said Rabina, I would have caught it real quick. I'd have been like, you got me messed up trying to say that I should move down the league. 2 leagues. Crazy. I just wish that I had done better research of the system that I was going to be playing in. because then I would have known the other teams. I would have done research on who pays. I would have done research on backup options, which brings me to my trust me on this one. Always have a backup. Always have a backup. It is not against the law. It's not against the rules. It's not disrespectful. It's business, baby. It's self-preservation. It's making sure you ready, you prepare for anything, like being told all the right things in your ear that you're amazing, the girls love you, you're doing your job, everything's great, I want to keep you, to less than a week before your last game, you're told, sorry, not going to work, here's another team. Always have a backup. Always be prepared. Look out for yourself. These teams, these clubs, they're looking out for themselves. It's business. Sometimes it's personal. Sometimes it's personal. But for the most part, it's just, it is what it is. They got to look out for themselves. They want to advance the club. Every team wants to be at the top. So they're going to do what they have to do to make sure that they stay at the top. And so you need to make sure that you take care of you. Trust me, have a backup plan. It hurts no one but yourself to not be prepared for the worst case scenario. You quite literally never know what's going to happen. And trust me, as these files and folders come through, you're going to hear some stories about the worst case scenario happening out of nowhere. And you got to be prepared for anything. So trust me, back yourself up, okay? It's okay. So that's it for this file in the Australia folder. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening again. I hope that the timeline was clear. I hope that I made sense. If you want any clarification, please feel free to hit me up. I mean, y'all know what to do with the email, 440files@gmail.com. The Instagram page, 440files. You can request to follow me on my personal page, and Pinky. Keep up with the YouTube channel. I'm uploading these videos every week as well, so you can have a little bit of a visual effect. I am going to start adding in a script to the YouTube channel so that you can have it translated into whatever language it is that you natively speak, because as I do have some friends and former teammates and listeners that are tuning in from Israel with Hebrew, Germany, German, Lugano with Italian, Australian English. Who knows if they can understand me with, their version of English. But yes, I am going to try and be more accommodating to all of my listeners on this platform, and also people who are hard of hearing. It's important to have captions for them as well. So I'm going to work on that, get my act together, and update the YouTube channel episodes with some captions. So give me some time, but I am going to do that as well. But yes, this was a very hectic and speedy timeline that I gave in about 40 minutes. But yeah, imagine living that. Like retelling it, there was only so many details that I could put in there, but it just felt like I landed off of that plane and everything went into fast forward. And the emotional ups and downs that I went through, and everything that had been promised and then taken away and then hinted at, and then it was all a mess. So really hope I made the timeline clear. I hope that the dates helped. And yeah, so tune in next time to hear about what happened after I took another leap and messaged the goalkeeper coach for Logan Lightning. And let's see where I go from here. Thank you, guys. Tune in again in 2 weeks, and let's kick it together. Bye, y'all.